Hello, hello, welcome back to Baki Taki Season 5, the fourth last episode. I've lost track of which one that is. With us, we've got our only double episode of the season, and coming back to multiple time guests, we've got Vishal and Ryan.
Hello, hello.
Hello, it's me, your favorite.
You are definitely in the top two
Thank-
Ryans on this pod.
Thank you so much.
I also I'm in the top 3 Ryans.
Yeah, okay. I guess
No, you ain't.
Yeah.
highly coveted spot. But yeah, well, maybe it's one of those name translation things. Like I always remember looking up and it'd be like Steven in Spanish is Esteban. Maybe Vishal translates to Ryan.
That's actually probably what it is. That makes a lot of sense.
No, just what I go by in the furry conventions.
Oh,
What?
your first son is
Sorry, we're getting
named
off
Ryan.
topic.
what a normal name.
I mean, yeah, it gets people off guard and then draws interest, you know.
I'm just imagining you in a fursuit, but you also steal Ryan's clothes and just wear that on top of it.
Yeah, it happens more often than you think.
Yeah, just go as Ryan, but as a big lion.
Ryan the Lion.
I'm still missing
That's
a lot of benefits.
Yeah, see, it's got a ring to it.
Yeah, and it's all the bottoms. Anyway, so we've got an episode to discuss of Baki.
Oh
Yeah. Before we get into this, I've been asking people just a question. But as we get closer to the end, I've been switching it up. So basically, as we approach the end of the Baki anime, what's something that you wish you could have seen that you didn't get a chance to in the episodes that you watched?
I mean, before this episode, I would say Baki, the character.
Yep.
Because I feel like I didn't get to see a lot of Baki throughout this whole thing. But
Man, that's so true with the episode that I did too. I mean, my first one's a little weird, but because I think I did the first one of this season or whatever.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
you got to watch Baki fight Toba. That was that was
Yeah,
a
I
fair amount.
guess so. Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like that was like one kind of small fight, but that was like I don't know, that fight that's from like an entirely different like time period, though. You know.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe what it is just more like Baki outside of fights. Is that a thing in this series? Just like character development.
He went on a date with Kozue once, but it's very he had an arc about losing his virginity. That's probably the only arc not about
Right.
fighting.
I thought
Okay.
you just asked if character development is in this anime.
Well,
It's not.
I don't know.
It's a tougher question to
What
answer.
does
than
that
you
mean?
think.
It's like they replace character with muscle, so it's muscle development. That's basically what I'm getting.
I guess that's true.
Baki
Yeah.
went through some real
definitely
character
got a lot
growth.
stronger.
His arms got huge.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So this episode is one of the like 6 episodes that's just Baki fighting his dad. It's been fun recording all of these. Just realized I lost my notes. But
I got them here.
That's good.
Oh, perfect.
Here you go.
Actually, Ryan's running the show. He's now top 1 of the top 2 Ryans.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Baki versus dad. The fight starts off. Baki is starting to loosen up.
A looseness beyond looseness. So loose that the fibers of muscles he isn't even aware of start to melt. A state of perfect looseness is achieved.
What did you think was going to happen when Baki started loosening his internal organs and his blood?
It is such an uncomfortable thing to watch. Physically watching that all like his skin melt. I mean,
Right.
I understand like what they were going for, but like, oh man, that was a scene.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I The fact that it made him faster, though, I don't think does that make you faster? Melting into butter?
I mean, I don't know if it's like speed. It's just like, I mean, I guess it's speed, but like ability to just kind of like weave in and around, in an elegant way.
Yeah, you're more dexterous.
Yeah, dexterous.
Yeah.
That would make
Huge
sense
dexterity.
because I was thinking at first that it's like a
big-
hydraulics thing, but then he apparently turned into a vapor afterwards, which
Yeah, well,
would
he
lead
like
to-
launched himself like a rocket though.
Oh, it looked like he
like,
broke
I
the
don't know,
sound
something-
barrier.
Yeah, I can't remember how fast they actually said it was, but it was a
That's-
pretty big number.
I was trying to justify this as like such copium. Like there's no, it was just there's no. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know.
Then, taking it further, in his mind, the liquid vaporizes.
It was cool though. I mean, just him getting loose.
It's yeah, I love this move, and the best part is how he learned to do this. So I think Yujiro mentions a few times. He's like, "Who taught you this? Where the hell did you learn this move?" And did you guys pick up how he learned this move?
I don't think I would have been a part of an episode or watched an episode that he would have
Yeah.
learned it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I got
he
no
hung out in
context.
he was in his basement and he stared at a cockroach in the basement long enough that he learned how to do this.
No.
'Cause-
You know the funniest thing? They stated that he moved like 167 miles per hour. I looked up how fast a cockroach can go at max speed. It's 3 miles.
Well, it's proportional.
I did. I know it's proportional. I do our research. Like, yeah, 3 miles.
And now, with a velocity that only cockroaches are capable of, he launches himself at his target.
A little move I like to call the cockroach tackle.
Yeah, no.
But you know, it's boggy.
Proportionately, Baki can move faster than a bullet train, and it's the theory is that cockroaches can move so proportionally fast because they don't have muscle fibers; they just have liquid. And Baki was able to mimic that by staring at the cockroach in his basement until he was able to melt his whole body.
No, was this like one episode in like the basement, or like was it just a random thing he just discovered?
An entire episode of watching a cockroach.
Yeah, it's just a still frame. With like
that's
like a
it.
screensaver of a cockroach moving around.
Yeah. There's no voiceovers or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it funnier because Yujiro was like, "Where did you learn this? Who taught you this?" And then it literally was a cockroach. It wasn't like anything else.
Yeah.
There's no freakish, superpowered, overpowered teacher.
Well, that's the fun thing.
I like
That's
how
the...
our
No, you go.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I like how like the main hero is like being like likened to like a cockroach, the most like disgusting creature. But it's like it's like a secret technique almost.
Hey, sometimes you gotta fight nasty, dude.
Yeah.
I guess so. It's just like
They're known as
Alright.
the worst creatures, but also the most unkillable. So if you got to pull like inspiration,
Oh,
although
so basically a nuke can't kill Baki now.
it's so funny you bring that up
That's
because
honest.
in the next episode they discuss nuking Baki's granddad.
Oh my god, it all comes around full circle.
Yeah.
At least they're consistent.
Oh man. But yeah, Baki's able to pull off the cockroach tackle, his new secret move that he uses against his dad. And he pushes him through some glass walls. He pushes him through another wall, I think. And he gets glass on his feet, and it doesn't even matter. And Yujiro is quite impressed by his son's performance. So at this point, like, how do you think Baki was doing in the fight? Do you think it was like an even match? Did he have the advantage?
I mean, to me, Yujiro just seems like a wall. So like he pulled something like a little quick move on Yujiro, but I don't know. It didn't convince me enough. I feel like from what I've seen from Yujiro, he's just like you can't mess with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're kind of like led to believe that Baki is like the upper hand in that moment because you just have Yujiro just kind of like standing there and just kind of like takes it in a way. But I mean, there's a couple like, obviously we'll get to it, but like a couple like scenes later where Baki goes on like the offense, but like there's a kind of doesn't really seem bothered by it too much. I think in this moment when he gets like hit by his like cockroach tackle thing, like he's definitely like taken aback and like shocked by it, but it doesn't really seem like it really like hurt him a lot per se.
Yeah, it feels like he's like testing him a little bit, like he's working his way up.
Yeah, the fact that Yujiro wasn't thinking about how to recover from this, but how questioning many times where the hell he learned this, that
what the hell's my son been up to? What is he? What is that? What's wrong with
cockroaches?
Oh man. So eventually Yujiro turns the table a bit, throws Baki through a solid, look like 3 feet wall of concrete. But that's not what's important. It turns out that first of all, it turns out that this is an urban legend in Tokyo, Baki and his dad. But secondly, it turns out that a lot of people are excited in this fight.
What the hell?
Hey, look, it's him!
Huh? It's the ogre! It's really him!
Awesome!
There's a lot that comes up here pretty quick. I guess first off, would you guys be intrigued if I said there was an urban legend where somewhere in Toronto some guy was gonna fight his dad?
Like intrigued enough to like leave my house and run to the other side of the city to watch?
Yeah, you'd have to run to the train or bike.
Like, like really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally probably wouldn't, but I mean, it definitely speaks volumes to the I don't know, like the stories that these guys have fought through and made for themselves and all that.
This kind of reminds me. So that question reminds me of like, remember like the first big fight, like the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
I don't know why. I don't know in what frame of reference you'd consider that the first big fight.
I don't know, the first big social media, like, oh, this matchup would have never happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And now everyone's fighting everyone. But it reminds me of like, I never cared about that fight, but then I remember I went over to Keith, our buddy's house, and then they had it on like a projector next door, and we were just like so enthralled and just watching it. So I feel like in that, like if this urban legend, something in Toronto, like as you said, happened, and like everyone's hyped about it, it's all over social media. I mean, if I live close to Toronto, maybe I might be like, oh, I could just like go over and maybe die to like a falling rock or something.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But actually, I mean, I would
Big
consider
day.
it if like the boys were going up and we're making the trek over. Why not? I mean, the fight's probably in like 10 minutes, so realistically probably not. But
Oh man, that would
also, like-
suck. Like you take an
Yeah,
hour
you
and a half
drive over.
bus. It's like, oh yeah, he beat up his son.
Oh no, there's traffic.
Oh man.
yeah, so I don't think I would.
Speed at which these people got there is incredible. Because I mean, I don't know if there was like a lot more like lead up to this fight. Like it felt like this is maybe the second or so episode of like these people fighting. I don't really know.
I would say it's like the last episode was the real start of it.
Okay.
Well-
I don't know if there was like a big like public like, oh my god, what's going on inside that building or whatever, but it's just like they get like knocked outside the building and there's like thousands upon thousands of people watching right now, and it's like, man, you guys got here like real quick. There's no way this was going on that long.
Also, the scene of them like panning from like people reacting to the fight going on, like the guy on the laptop and whatever, and the broadcasters on TV. Did you see the one guy reading like Urban Legends Quarterly or whatever? You're just like, it sounds like what? Is it? It's so stupid. Like, that's not a thing.
And it's like, this would be like the lamest one. Like he's like, oh my god, it's real? Wait, which one? Sasquatch? Aliens? Oh, the guy who wants to fight his dad. Okay.
Yeah. I found that. I paused that and I was like, wait, no way. It was so funny.
That I love when the news comes in on this show. Like the guy's just like, oh, the hotel is closed down because of a domestic dispute.
Big father and son.
Yeah. I guess it is newsworthy though, because they did blow up the prime minister's limo, which is a good start to a fight.
Oh, that was my first like president or whatever that I've seen in Baki Talkie. You've hyped up a lot of them.
Well, didn't you see
the first one I saw.
Obama like right before that?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Obama.
Obama's
he
not
had
the
like
prime
a
minister.
1 second scene in that.
Was that not Obama?
Sorry, let me clarify. Yes, Obama was in the flashback,
sorry, I get it,
and then the prime minister's car blew up.
Right. Sorry, I don't know. My brain didn't like realize what was happening. I don't know. Anyways,
I mean, honestly, in a show like this, if somebody just said Obama was like the prime minister of Japan, I'd just be like, I believe it.
Obama came and suplexed like Shinzo Abe.
Yeah.
Obama's so great in this whole. I think he's done. Like I think that's his last clip, but like it's so fun whenever he shows up. Because this, I don't want to put words in the author's mouth, but I think he hates America.
Oh boy. Does he show like portray the hate through Obama, or does he like make Obama seem like incompetent? He makes
Obama seem like a huge like wimp who's always cowering in front of Yujiro. He had to give a pledge of allegiance to Yujiro. Like and like wow. You can tell he likes Obama more than George Bush, who got kidnapped by Baki. It's I don't know. There's some stuff later on where Yujiro like. That's where the nuke stuff comes in, because Baki's granddad, it turns out, fought for Japan in World War II. But we'll get to that in another episode. All right. So everybody showed up to the big fight to watch it. Yujiro at first is like, "This is so fucking weird. Why is everybody here? Let's call it off."
It's the greatest father-son face-off ever!
Shit, and I thought I hated my dad!
Hey, forget it. Not today.
But Baki does not want to do that. He goes for 3 quick punches. And this is where the fight seems to sort of take a turn for the worse for Baki. I think we were touching on this earlier, but do you guys want to cover what Baki tries?
Baki straight up calls his dad a pussy. I'm just gonna say that outright. He was like, Yujiro was like, you shouldn't do this, dude. There's too many people. And Baki's like, yo, what are you saying? You scared a little bit? Oh, sorry. I don't mean to swear on that.
No, this is good. Keep it going. I'm just gonna play the background music.
What's wrong?
Pretend this is the audio.
Yeah. And Yujiro's like, you shouldn't do this, dude. There's too many people. And Baki's like, yo, what are you saying? You scared a little bit? He's like, what's wrong? You afraid to lose in front of all these people? I was like, yeah. That showed me that Baki had more of a chance than when Baki did the cockroach thing, because Baki was like showing his confidence.
Yeah,
confidence means a lot.
I was actually surprised that his dad was so like kind of hesitant to do it in front of just like the live audience like that. I feel like I don't really know a lot about his character, but just looking at this big, strong, like lion or like ogre of a man, it's just like, oh, he's there.
I think that's part of it.
It's surprising. It's weird.
Well, his character, I think, is so like intimidating, so unassailable, that even just the fact that these people were there and he didn't want them to be, like, that just doesn't happen. Like, I feel like he was thrown off by like the lack of control in the situation. Because usually people's only reaction to him is just seeing him on the street and going, ah. So it's yeah, no, I agree. I think it's an interesting side to his character. But he doesn't show weakness for long, and it definitely seems like this flipped a switch in him where Baki hits him in 3 vital spots. They always talk about vital spots on this show. I'm not really sure where they are. But he basically just shrugs them off. And I think that's where... Oh, what is it? Okay, so then Baki tries the cockroach dash again. Doesn't work. But what I want to talk about is Yujiro hits Baki in the head so hard that people in the audience cover their ears because there's such a loud ringing noise. Like, that to me was insane.
It's like he just shot a gun. It's just the loud crack of it. It's, I don't know, man. Ijiro is a very scary guy. Yeah. They called in like the whole military as well too. Just it's just in case things got out of control.
I would love a compilation of like just media of just a list of every media where the Japanese military gets called in, because I feel like they lose every time in any Godzilla movie. In Baki, they just stand there. It's like it's the world's least. I don't even think they can call themselves the military. I think it's like the Japanese Special Defense Force or something.
The Special Defense.
So after Baki gets hit so hard, he should have at least gotten concussed. He starts crying at some point. But he's able to turn it around a bit because he decides to stop bleeding. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Have you ever tried this method?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. He stands there and he's just like kind of like, you know what, I got this. Just like he's like, I don't know, like blood's like pouring out of his mouth or nose, can't really tell. And he like gets up, he just like a faucet was just turned on, like squirts a bunch of blood out of both nostrils, and then just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're good? No, you're not. That was a lot of blood.
I was bleeding. I'm not bleeding anymore.
That was the first like anime thing that I've seen in Baki. Well, it depends, but like just like basically just willpower and adrenaline. We just get back up. It's like Dragon Ball Z almost.
Yeah,
something like that. And then I also related to the you know when you hit in the nose and your eyes start watering, like that actually kind of made sense. Does that happen to you guys?
I don't get punched in the face that often.
Okay, well sometimes you bang your nose on
Vishal,
something.
Do you need help?
No,
is Ryan bullying you?
Are you getting like street brawls? No, I didn't hurt him. I swear, that wasn't me.
Hey, listen, podcast listeners, I know you're on my side. All right, this does happen. Oh, when I heard him, like I heard Baki or you or the narrator say that, I thought in my head like the person that wrote this, like the mangaka or whatever, like probably got hit in the nose recently and started crying. And I was like, I'm putting that into Baki. That's going straight into Baki.
Oh, I believe that. I will say I think that a big part of the success of this show is that the guy who writes it really loves martial arts, and I think I believe that this guy's been hit in the face a lot.
Probably for writing Baki or for like practicing martial arts.
just by people on the street.
Yeah.
He needs inspiration for Baki. He just walks over. He's like, hey, you want to punch me in the face?
Some people don't like Baki. They're just like, I hate you. Bang, bang.
Yeah, okay.
I love how like the lead up to Baki getting like hit in the face too. Like the narrator like cuts in or whatever, and he's like quoting. I don't know if they gave the guy a name or whatever. It's like the Japanese kung fu master or whatever. They're kind of like leading it up to be this like, I don't know, like deep philosophical quote about it. And I didn't like write down the quote, but it's essentially just like if you punch someone in the face, it hurts. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. It's just like there's like a lot of lead up to that moment.
Yeah, he knew that because he knows kung fu. It's an ancient Chinese series. Developed.
I took a Japanese kung fu master to know that getting hit in the nose is going to make you cry a lot. It's like, you know what? Thank you, man.
Yeah,
that's the years of expertise showing there.
He pulled that move out at a competition, and people were like, "Holy shit, we got to start hitting people in the face too." Oh my god. So the fight's not going great for Baki. I don't know. We cut to Tokugawa and the Japanese Prime Minister chilling on top of a truck watching the fight. That's where we learn that the police and the army have been mobilized to watch this brawl come down. But the episode ends on a fun note. Baki realizes that he's being watched by somebody up on top of the building. And he enters into an interesting stance. Vishal, do you want to describe this special move?
Yeah, so he gets down on like a knee and like one of his hands, and he starts like preparing like he's like ready to like jolt for like a race. But you see this you see like a big dinosaur, like I think it's a triceratops, right?
Yeah.
Triceratops?
Yeah. T-Rex's
and
greatest rival.
You see this? Yeah, you can see this. Huh? What the?
At that moment, in front of that whole crowd, something became visible that no one among them had ever seen. The monstrous form of the T-Rex's greatest rival.
Apparently, I don't know.
Is that true?
Yeah, is that true? Is there context? Is Yujiro a T-Rex? I don't know, but apparently he's the strength is, I don't know. So Yu-Gi-Oh manifests this dinosaur so that it's visible to everybody. So everyone just sees a big dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that happens in the next episode, but maybe I assume this dinosaur isn't actually part of the fight. I assume Baki himself turns into the strength of a triceratops.
Yeah, to quote the episode, like, this is very similar to other type of martial arts, like tiger style or praying mantis, kung fu. And if you're good at those styles, you don't just act like the animal, you make people think that they're watching that animal. And that's why Baki's like lunge pose with his two arms out was so impressive that everybody saw a creature that hasn't walked the earth in 65 million years. T-Rex's greatest rival, the Triceratops. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on we see two reactions to this Triceratops, Yujiro and the man on top of the building. I guess you're familiar with Pickle, so what did you think when you saw these? How the Triceratops was received?
Sorry, with who? With Pickle?
Wait. Oh,
is that the? I don't think I did that. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the caveman.
I mean, is that the caveman? Oh man, okay. Like I panned up to like the caveman guy, and I'm like, why is there a caveman on the top of a building?
I made some notes.
What's going on?
And I wrote him as Tarzan on steroids, but with also killer instincts. Does that describe him correctly?
Yeah, it's Tarzan if he wanted to eat Jane.
Oh yeah, if Tarzan went like a totally different direction and wasn't a Disney movie.
Yeah. So that's Pickle. Pickle was born 190 million years ago, but when an asteroid hit the Earth, I think he got covered in the salt, and the salt sort of cryogenically froze him, and then they de-thawed him, and now he lives in the Tokyo wildlife. He's a bit of a cannibal also.
Oh, nice.
I will say it's probably not cannibalism because we're not really the same species as him. I guess.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
You could make a very compelling case.
Yeah.
There could be a debate about this.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool, guys. It's cool. They're not blood related.
I'm sure it's
cool.
Fine, yeah. Oh, okay. Why is this name Pickle?
What?
Because he was frozen in the salt for so long. It was like he was pickled.
Oh, he got pickled. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's not how you pickle stuff.
Hey.
It's with vinegar and sugar and a little bit of salt.
Mostly salt. Mostly just rock salt.
That's curing. Well,
they're not going to call him Curie. Like, it's Marie Curie, the caveman.
Curry? No. Yeah, okay.
Curry would be a fun
I
name.
think Kira the Caveman would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So Baki actually broke out these moves against Pickle because Pickle used to fight dinosaurs back in his day. There's so many questions that come up with the timeline when you start thinking about Pickle, but we won't rehash those debates. But yeah, that's how the episode ended. Yujiro seemed absolutely shell shocked that Baki was able to make a Triceratops, and Pickle sort of goofily smiled in his loincloth on top of a building.
I'm expecting this like Triceratops like attack to be his like super ultimate like Kamehameha move here. Like I really want Baki to just like pop off with this Triceratops.
So so speaking of Kamehameha, he was pulling his hands up and I thought he was gonna do like the Spirit Bomb from like Dragon Ball Z. I legit thought they were gonna straight up
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking Spirit Bomb, man.
I thought all the crowd was just gonna give him energy for whatever reason. And you're just gonna throw a big bomb at Yujiro.
That'd be so good.
I don't know.
Just the crowd gives a reason
huge
for all the
rip-off.
people. All the people
Yeah,
biking.
yeah,
there.
there you go. You're
Oh my
biking there,
God.
taking the bullet train.
Yeah, no. This fight is the type of fight where like it takes itself seriously enough that it couldn't do that, but it can have you believe that your muscles are liquid. It can have your ghost grandfather come back, and you can end it by imagining that you're having rice at a table. It's a very thin line that it walks. So you guys have been on multiple episodes of Baki through all of these seasons and such. Do you think the show has gotten better over time?
I think so. I've really liked the actual like 2 episodes that I watched of the actual show that we're supposed to be watching. I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah.
I think I mean I haven't like really watched like too many of the older ones, so I don't really have like too much to like kind of like understand like a scale of kind of see the progression of quality or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the ultimate end climax of Baki isn't just some like I don't really know like the deeper plot of other things I've got on the show, but this isn't some like crazy like apocalyptic ending. I like that this is just a battle, like a street brawl between just a father and son.
It's a
And
domestic
kinda
dispute that broke down the hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just like a really, really cool way to just kind of like progress to and have that still like that be the climax, but still be like very satisfying without having some it still is a crazy epic battle, but there's a lot more like meaning to it than just some like random one-on-one arena match or whatever. It's a cool progression and kind of like plot development you don't see in a lot of other shows. They always kind of build up to like I don't know, like a grittier kind of ending rather than just a domestic.
Keeping it, yeah,
cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's easy to spiral out and just get too big where it doesn't feel like it's as important to the characters anymore. I've found that's a big problem with action movies nowadays. Like like the meme of like every movie has a blue laser that shoots into the sky. It's nice to have some simpler conclusions. Vishal, what did you think?
A quick question: why were they both in the hotel? Did they randomly just like were they both staying at that hotel?
They were going out to dinner, and then Yujiro threw Baki out the 38th floor window, and then they sort of took the fight back inside, and then they went out again. So they've sort of been circling around the building.
What the? Okay, I just wanted to know a little bit of context, just out of curiosity's sake. I'd say honestly, so the first, I can't remember what I said. I know you asked the question like, "Are you gonna watch Baki after our episodes?" The first few I did, I was like, yeah, maybe I might do it. Obviously, I didn't because I didn't. I still wanted to participate in the podcast and whatnot, but I actually really like the whatever. I want to know what the lead up to this fight between Yujiro and Baki was. I want to like learn for like the techniques, like the cockroach thing. I want like that's actually pretty funny. I want like it would be cool to, like see all the stuff Baki learned and how it like plays out in this fight. And I know Yujiro has been like a big he's been like the big scary force, the one thing Baki doesn't want to actually fight or he's scared of. At least that's what I got. Maybe Baki does want to fight him and prove himself or whatnot, but I don't know. I think I would watch the series just to get up to this fight because I actually really enjoyed watching this episode.
Wow.
I don't know.
Look
It's
at
good.
this.
It's good.
That's
I know.
this show. It's
You got me. All it took was a podcast, Steve.
Honestly, a large part of making this show was that I wanted to talk to people about Baki, and I knew that if I just talked about it, people would have no idea what the fuck I was trying to get across. But if I trick people into watching 20 minutes, yeah.
I mean, I've heard before it's a great show. I know it's like it's one of those niche shows that like a lot of people have watched but don't really talk about it that much. Is that I don't know. That's how I feel. From like an online presence of the show.
I feel like it's just a niche show. I don't think people talk. I think the people who like it really like it, and I think that it just doesn't get a lot of attention. But you know, one day I think it'll hit it big. It is like I was looking it up. I think it's almost like breaking the top 10 for highest selling manga of all time. Just through brute force
of all time. Wow.
It's almost 100. It's almost 100 million volumes sold, I think.
What the? Really?
Well, the thing is, if you look on a per volume basis, like it's like so low, but it's just been running forever.
Right. True.
Anyway,
so is this the final like season? Is this like the series finale? This fight essentially? Like is Baki like fully done after this? Even like manga wise, is like manga finished?
No. So Baki is like sort of a collection of a few. Like I think it was like Baki and then the New Adventures of Baki and then Baki Hanma. So this is the ending of an arc. After this, they created Baki Do, I think. So the story continues. I personally don't think the anime is going to continue, but maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part because I need to take
wishful
a break.
Thinking. What? For the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, no. To be fair, my dream is that Netflix did what they did this season, which is they wait 2 to 3 years and then adapt the next stuff. But Baki's still being written today. There's new issues coming out every month or so. And a whole bunch of spin-off stuff. You can it's a pretty popular franchise in its own right.
Is there a Yujiro manga?
No Yujiro one. There's Retsu, Hanayama, Chihara. Like there's a bunch of characters. There's an isekai with Baki.
Is it canon or is it just
I don't think it's quite canon. There's one of them is my favorite. Is it's like actually comedy, and I've read a few chapters. It's one of the death row inmates. Editor Steve, sorry if you're a new listener somehow, but I'm tired of how many times I've shared this exact anecdote, so I just cut it. Anyway, did you guys have anything else, or?
I wanted to just we skipped over a quote I really liked from that episode.
Oh sure, yes.
Dude, if you read the same quote I have written down here, I will.
I have a feeling it's going to be the same one.
Okay.
It's play with him, Baki.
No,
Let him
it
play
is.
With you. No other son has a father that could play with him like this.
Yes, that's it. Play with him, Baki. Let him play with you.
Meanwhile, there's like a screenshot of like a a naked child Baki in the background. It's like, I'm sorry. What?
Sometimes I realize. Sorry, I was just gonna say sometimes I realize how desensitized I am to the show. I just hear that quote and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I don't need to write that down.
Yeah, it's pretty par for the course. Yeah.
Well, there was this also when like Baki was getting loose and like the narrator was like, or I don't know if it was Yuji or the narrator. I can't remember, but there was like,
yeah.
Oh, son, I like how loose you become. It's like, huh? Is it like I almost want to go watch the Japanese dub to know if like this sentiment is like I wonder if it's like the same. Like
I believe
assume it is.
I can see Yujiro telling his son to get loose.
It's like, whoa, Yujiro, relax. Yeah. That's your blood.
That is a blood note. It's not like Biggle.
No, it's not stepson. That's not. Yeah, a lot of sexual innuendos that are not actually sexual innuendos.
On that note, all right. Thanks, guys, for coming on to the podcast all these times. And that's all the Baki we've got to talkie. I'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, perfect. All right, it's time for, as I promised last week, the recommendation rom-com roundup. Yeah, I've watched a few of these. As I've mentioned many times, I watched Kaguya. I really enjoyed it, and then I watched a lot of anime to try and find something like it. I didn't really succeed in that, honestly, the mix of comedy and romance. But what I did succeed in is realizing that there is so many rom-com animes that are almost the same in plot structure. Like, they all are about high schoolers. They start in their first year, more or less. Then they have the culture festival. Then they go to fireworks in the summertime. And then they come back for the next year and they do those events over and over. And sometimes there's a sports festival and they're almost always on the student council. I don't know. It's incredible how much overlap is. I think I could write my own in my sleep at this point. But there are some good ones and some bad ones, and I just wanted to very quickly, rapid fire, go through the ones I like and one that I hated. Light spoilers on the structures of these shows, so consider skipping this if I talk about a show that you're considering. So first off, I played some music from it, Toradora. It's 15 years old, but you don't feel it watching it. I would rank this higher if it wasn't for the pacing. Like, it has I like what it does. I think that there's a lot of good moments that you can think back on, but it's 25 episodes and they don't get together until pretty late into it. Like, it feels like they play around too much in like, oh, who are they going to end up with? I saw a Reddit comment that said, like, it was just a guy earnestly saying, oh, I don't know who he's going to end up with. Like, first of all, the promotional stuff for this show clearly make it clear who the main couple is, but also it's called Toradora, which means tiger dragon. The main girl is called Taiga, and the main guy is called Ryuji, which is dragon. Like, it's not subtle who it's going to end up with, and because you know that, it can sort of drag in the middle, dragon the middle. Maybe that's why they did it. But I liked it. I liked it a fair amount, and I feel like it's probably it's tough because it's the opposite of my other one that I really liked, Ora Monogatari, or My Love Story, which is the dumbest name, but it fits the show. It's got a guy who looks like he could be in Baki, Takeo Guda. He's like 6'5", and he's got this cool best friend who he steals all of his girlfriends inadvertently. And then he meets this nice girl. They get together in the third episode. There's no conflict the entire show, because they just, the two people, like, watching a lot of these rom-coms, it's nice to have both characters like each other. Kaguya and the way they handle it is they have two characters who are too shy to say anything, and that's where you get off the content. This show has the bold choice of two characters who are just head over heels, and most of their dialogue is just going, I love you, I love her. Like, it doesn't sound interesting, but it's well written, the characters are fun, and at times it can just be goofy with the size difference between the two. One more recommendation, Skip and Loafer. That's a recent show from this year. It's really good, but it's very much slice of life. It's not really romance at all, at least in the part that's animated. This is also one of those ones where I actually recommend reading the manga after you watch the show, just because I think that it's one of those stories that just gets better as it goes, sort of like Hinamatsuri. But yeah, the animated stuff doesn't have a lot of romance in it. For shows that I would not recommend, Plastic Memories, I think, is ass. I'm not going to go into it because I think this show is better with less context, but I didn't like it. I thought it was tonally whiplash all over the place. I don't know. I don't. I've seen a lot of people really like it. I thought it was not smart enough to tell the story I wanted to. And then last one, this is my favorite show. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I am probably going to somehow make a video or talk more about this in some form. I started talking to Lindsay that this was Toradora with a gas leak, and it's not because the people are more interesting or crazy. It's because they're so sleepy. This is the dullest show with the worst animation, and it looks like a visual novel. Nobody is moving, but amazingly, I'm gonna play us out on the opening theme of the show. Like, imagine the dullest show you've ever watched, and this is how every episode starts.
つうかなんつうかされてばかりじゃ悪いっつうか気が向いただけを全